Welcome to Immature Designer. We are back with our Product Management 101 playlist. In this playlist, we will be talking about what are the different requirements that we should be covering up while preparing for product management. Either you're preparing for your placements or you're trying to switch your job, your profile, you want to get into this particular profile as an intern. This particular playlist would actually help you prepare for all that. I'll be sharing with you the examples, the frameworks, the resources that you will need. So basically, just wrap up yourself and complete this particular playlist, and you'll be done with the complete preparation of product management. So let's get started. Now, I'll be discussing about what are all the checklists that you need to cover up if you are preparing for product management. These all things that I'll be discussing are really important and have been discussed in very brief. First of all, talking about frameworks. So in the coming playlists, I'll be discussing about different frameworks. That is, the most important frameworks are the circles, AARRR, which is R, and heart frameworks. These are very important frameworks, and there are several other frameworks that we'll be discovering while we're working on it, right? So on the way. So the first thing that you'll be covering is frameworks. Once your framework is strong, I would just suggest that just practice questions using these frameworks, and once you are very much used to these frameworks, it would be very easy for you to solve your questions given by your interviewer. So let's jump to the next topic. The next topic that I'll be discussing in this particular playlist would be guesstimates. Guesstimates is basically questions in which you have to guess and estimate. So guesstimate. In this, I'll be discussing the framework you can use to guesstimate, the way you should be talking to your interviewer while you are solving a guesstimate. So it's very important if you are sitting for your placements or any interview. It's very important to just talk to your interviewer while you are guesstimating. So how to do that, that also will be covered in the playlist, right? So the first thing in guesstimates is the framework. It's then we'll be discussing a few examples which would actually help you understand how to come up with and solve a guesstimate. And very important is resources, because while I was preparing for it, it was very difficult to find various resources. But when I completed my product management and everything, I just collected so many resources that I would love to share with you all. So while I'll be making particular videos specific on guesstimates, on those videos I'll be attaching the resources. So yeah, this is the second checklist. Coming to the third one is root cause analysis or problem solving questions. So it's a very common questions which is asked in any product management interview. In this, you will be having frameworks, and then I'll be discussing examples and the most important thing, resources from where you can practice your questions. So root cause analysis is type of a question in which you have to solve a particular problem which is occurring with a product. For example, if they say that Instagram stories, the view of Instagram stories has been dropped by 50%, so you have to find out how and why it happened, and what is the solution that you want to come up with. So that's the thing with root cause analysis. These are very common questions, and it might seem difficult right now that Swiggy orders have dropped by 80% or 20%, but it sounds difficult. But once you know the framework, once you practice root cause analysis question, and once I'll explain you in the specific videos, you'll understand and be able to come up with the solutions very easily. I would also explain in the videos that how to talk to an interviewer while you are solving a root cause analysis question, which is a very important part, which is actually the most important part, right? Being interactive with your interviewer. The topic number 4 is product design thinking. In this is also one of the most common type of question in which you will have to come up with the design of a particular product. These questions are kind of design X for Y, which is design a watch for blind people, or design a fridge for kids, design Netflix for kids. So these types of questions are called product design thinking questions, in which you have to think the design of a product, how you will be coming up with the features, and which user group you will be targeting, what will the features, what will be the success of the features, right? How will you prioritize the features, That is the thing that you will be go through while you'll be solving a product design thinking question. So basically the most important framework that comes into use over here is the circles framework. So then we'll be discussing some examples so that you can understand how to solve it, and again, very very important is the resources. Coming to the next type of question is product improvement question. So this is another common question which people ask you that maybe you have a favorite, they'll ask you that what is a favorite product, and then they will say you if it's Spotify, then how would you improve Spotify? Or just a direct question that improves Swiggy. So basically you will have to come up with a framework, and then you'll have to discuss with the interview that how you're going to improve Swiggy. So that's again one thing that we'll be discussing in our videos. Number 6 is product launch. So basically there can be a random question, for example, that launch Google in Mongolia, right? That's a very interesting question, and the first go when you just listen to this question, you'll be blank, right? You'll be thinking that what, launching Google in Mongolia? Where's Mongolia? I don't know anything about Mongolia. What's, how to launch Google? What product of Google? I don't understand. So various questions come up in your mind. So that's how structuring is the most important part while you are preparing for product management. And I would say that product launch question, you have to be structured. Again, like for every question, for every type of question that I discussed earlier, you have to be structured definitely. In this type of question also, you have to break down the problem to a smaller smaller problem, and then solve it one by one, and definitely you'll be able to come up with some solution. And I'm just betting on it that when I'll be making a specific video on this, and I'll explain you how to solve a product launch question. After that, I'm sure that coming up, whenever you will be encountered with any kind of product launch question, you can easily solve it. Product launch question can also be like you have to launch a particular branch of a particular restaurant on any particular geographic location. So should you do it? How would you do it? That's another question, right? So yeah, framework around that and examples around that would be discussed in the particular playlist. Next is product success. So in this again, two frameworks are very important. R framework and Hart framework is important. Product success. Um, uh, so I'll be come up with some questions, for example, that they will ask you that how would you measure the success of a particular feature in a particular product. So maybe how would you measure the success of Instagram stories on Instagram. So how you're going to measure it depends on how you are using the framework, and what kind of metrics you are using. So everything what is a metrics, again I would be making a video on that definitely. So yeah, in this video again I'll be talking about the frameworks and the examples so that you can be easily able to solve these kinds of questions. The last thing in the playlist would be favorite products. So not the last thing in the playlist, but I would say that the important part in the playlist will be around this particular topic, where that would be favorite product. So the interviewer generally asks you that what is your favorite product. So you will be saying that my favorite product is Spotify. So they'll say you, why is it your favorite product? So you cannot talk to your interviewer and just answer directly on his face that my favorite product is Spotify. First of all, you have to explain yourself that how do you determine a product as a favorite product. Then you have to come up with why Spotify is your favorite product, and then you'll have to come up with improvements in your favorite product, right? So that's how you have to structure it. Again, I'll be explaining everything in the coming videos around favorite products. Yeah, so in those videos I'll be explaining the framework and some examples, right? So these are the 8 things that I've discussed. Apart from this, in the particular playlist, I would be also coming up with pricing questions, what is product life cycle, then some other resources that I'm having, and also I'll be launching an interview videos in which I'll be discussing very common interview questions and how to tackle them, how to prepare yourself for that. Then what are KPIs? Again, key performance indexes, which is very important for each and every 8 things that I've talked right now. So KPIs are very important, and KPIs I'll be discussing in a specific video. Again, that would be attached in this particular playlist only. So just I want to tell you that if you have seen this video, then please follow up and continue the further videos which are in this particular playlist, which I'll be making one by one. And there will be so many resources and example which will actually prepare you for product management. So yeah, I'll be sharing a lot of resources as well as a bonus in each and every video. So definitely watch them till end. Yeah, so that is it for now. These are the checklists for your product management 101. Thank you, and just subscribe the channel if you haven't yet.